Hello, my friends. I hope you are fine. So today I opted for dealing with language. I'm going to show you how to answer language questions appropriately. Okay, so you just follow with me. Fill in the gaps with the appropriate phrasal verbs from the list. So this is the first question. We are going to deal with phrasal verbs. Nice. So let's read the sentence here. Ahmed's mother, his children when he and his wife were in Mecca. So we are talking here, so I think you understand from the context that we need to put a verb like take care or something like that. So what is the phrasal verb that means take care here in this list? Ahmed's mother, of course, looked after, looked after. Looked after. Nice. So the second one, so we have the teacher gave his students another test because that most of them got low marks in the previous one. So here the teacher discovers that his students didn't get high marks, so he decided to give them another chance to do the exam. So what is the appropriate word we should use here, or verb? So it's kind of discovered, he discovered. So what is the verb, appropriate verb here that means discover? Turned down, found out, or checked in? Of course, it is found out. Found out. So the infinitive verb is find out. So it is in the past, so we write found out. Good. Let's move to exercise B. Choose the correct sentences. They mean so choose the correct sentence among these two sentences. So we have here two sentences and one is correct and one is not correct. So Layla would have come if you had invited her. Layla would have come if you invite her. So here we are dealing with conditional since we have if. So what is the type of conditional we are dealing with here? We have Layla would have come if you had invited. So starting from this, had invited, so we can know the type of the conditional. So past perfect, of course, it is conditional type 3. But let's see the whole sentence and if the form is correct. Layla would have come if you had invited, or Layla would have come if you invite. So of course here we have had invited, past perfect, and here we have would have come. Here we have infinitive, invite, and would have come. In your opinion, what is the correct one? You may opt for this one. Yes, correct. If you choose the first one, you are correct. So Layla would have come, so the form is this, past perfect plus would have plus past participle of the verb. Right, good. So the answer is just, we can write Layla would have come if you had invited her. If you had invited her. Let's move to the second one, the same question. We have by the end of July. So by the end of July, this is indication of time that shows us that we have to conjugate the verb in future perfect. By the end of July, all students will be finished their exams, or will have finished their exams. And as you know, the form of future perfect is will have plus past participle. So the correct one is will have finished. And eventually you have to write by the correct sentence, you should write this one. So by the end of July, all students will have finished. Will have finished their exams, and you continue you complete the sentence. Okay, fine. The third one, Ali left the meeting quickly. He must have received an urgent call. Second one, Ali left the meeting quickly. He must receive an urgent call. So we have here, the difference is must have or must. So we use must, this is a modal verb. We use must to express, in this sentence, to express certainty, okay? But we have must and must have. We use must in the present and we use must have in the past. Let's go back to the sentences and discover whether they are in the present or in the past. So Ali left. What is the indication? What can show us that it is in the past or the present? Of course, the tense. We have left. Left. This verb is leave. The infinitive of the verb is leave. But the past becomes left. So left, so since it is in the past, so we are talking in the past. And eventually, the correct sentence, of course, is must have received. Must have received. So you are going to write this sentence here. Ali left the meeting quickly. He must have received. Must have received. Sorry. Must have an urgent call. Great. Okay. So let's move to the other questions. Okay, so let's move to question C. Put the verbs in brackets in the correct form. We have return and break. Of course, as I always say, you should, before you conjugate the verbs, you should pay attention to the indication of time, okay, to decide in which tense you are going to conjugate these verbs. Fine. And the indication of time are expressions of time, like yesterday, ago, tomorrow, next, and so on. So let's read this sentence and discover if really we have the expressions that shows us which tense we are going to use or we don't have. When the old lady returned to her apartment, she discovered that burglar were to break into her house during her absence. Unfortunately, we don't have any expression of time. But don't worry, we have something that shows us which tense we are talking about exactly. So let's read again and discover. When the old lady returned to her apartment, she discovered. She discovered. So discover in simple past. This verb shows us that we are talking in the past. Okay? So now we have two main tenses in the past. We have simple past and we have past perfect. And as we always say, that past perfect, we don't use past perfect unless we have two actions or two verbs in the past. One comes after the other. They are successful. Okay? So let's see if we have these two conditions. Return, break. Of course, we have two verbs in the past in this sentence. Condition number 2. Return to her apartment, comma, she discovered that the burglar breaks, so there is no conditional. I mean, the condition number 2 is absent. So they are not coming one after the other. So we are just going to conjugate them into the simple past. Fine? Since we don't have after or before or when, that shows us that one comes after the other. So we just need to put them into simple past and they are correct. So we conjugate. When the old lady returned, so return in the past is returned. And break, it's irregular, we say broke. Okay? Excellent. So let's move to the next exercises. Exercise D. Replace the underlined phrases with the right collocations from the list. So here in this list we have some collocations: adults, illiteracy, brain drain, primary education, brain gain, and adult literacy. Fine. So we are asked to change or to replace the underlined expressions by these collocations. Fine. So many African countries suffer from the immigration of skilled workers. Skilled workers means doctors, scientists, engineers, and so on. So what do we call the phenomenon in which some skilled workers like doctors and engineers move to another country and live in it? So what do we call this phenomenon? Of course, we call it brain drain. Brain drain. So we are going to change the immigration of skilled workers by brain drain. So I'm just going to write it into low letters. Brain drain. Good. Second one. Morocco is investing a lot in teaching adults to read and write. Teaching adults to read and write. So we have some people who are adults but cannot read or write. They are illiterate. So Morocco investing a lot in teaching these people how to read and write. Okay, so what do we call this phenomenon, or what do we call this thing? So we call it, of course, adult illiteracy or literacy. Of course, adult literacy, because the phenomenon, the negative phenomenon, is illiteracy. Now, this is the opposite. So, literacy, adult literacy. Which means teaching them how to read and write. Fine. Let's move now to E. Fill in the gaps with the appropriate words from the list. Here we are given some words in the list and we are asked to use them to complete these sentences. I know a good restaurant. We can try Mexican food. Fine? And we are given that, who, and where. Of course, we are dealing with relative pronouns. Okay. And of course, you know, when do we use these relative pronouns? We use who when we talk about people. We use when we talk about dates or time. We use where when we talk about places. Which about or that about things. Whose about possessive, and so on. So what do you think the correct one in this context is? I know a good restaurant. So we are talking about a restaurant. So a restaurant, is it a person, time, days, or place? Of course it is a place. So what is the correct one that goes with it? Of course it is where. So I know a good restaurant where we can try Mexican food. Second one, I can't find my mobile phone. I can't find my mobile phone. We have left it at home. Here we have modal verbs. So we can say might have, will have, or need have. So what are we going to choose? Of course, you might be thinking of this. Might have left it at home. So might have expressed lack of certainty. I'm not sure where I put them. Good. F. Choose the appropriate answer. It's a sunny day. You and your friend are bored. What would you say to him or her? Many thanks for your advice. Why don't we go swimming? Have a nice day. Okay, so what can you decide? It's a sunny day. Sunny day, which means very hot. So of course, when it's very hot, we go swimming. So the correct answer is A. Sorry, it's B, which is why don't we go swimming? Why don't we go swimming? Fine. Next, your classmates got 20 out of 20 on math test. What would you say to him or her? I'm awfully sorry for this mark. Thank you for your mark. Or congratulations on getting the top mark. Of course, congratulations, because they got a good mark. So this is the answer. And of course, you can write it here. Congratulations. Congratulations on getting the top mark. Nice. Okay, so let's. Okay, so let's move to the last question. Complete the following exchanges as indicated. Ahmed is in the museum. He asks a man to take a photo for him or of him. Ahmed, make a request. So put yourself in the place of Ahmed and make a request. What can you say? So, of course, we can say, could you please take me photo? Or would you please, or just can you please? But it's very important to use could or would with people that we don't know. Eric has just watched a new film. Ask for opinion. So you ask for his opinion about the film. What can you say or what can you write to ask for his opinion? Of course, you can say, what do you think? What do you think about the film? You can say, what do you think? Or, what is your opinion? And so on. So we have a lot of expressions of the opinion. Okay, so by writing this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you so much and see you next time.